Dear Marcus, I finally got round to watching that short film you made all those years ago where you played a babysitter. Oh dear. I hope you've since gotten better. If not, you always have your psychology degree to fall back on. At least you didn't give up on that one like you did the gym membership. Anyway, hope you are well. Love, Mum. I'm just kidding. My mum never calls me Marcus. However, that fictional letter with an extremely scathing review of an obviously misunderstood piece of work that I did many years ago does raise a good point. When creating something whose value is largely subjective, how do you handle rejection and bad analysis from critics and family members who think because they've watched Rear Window 3 times makes them Roger Ebert? And as I rapidly approach completing the first draft of my first novel, Atticus the Mighty, I would like to put that question on the writer's block. How do you handle negative feedback? Hi, I'm Marcus, and I'm the idiot on the writer's block. So, to find out how to deal with negative feedback, we asked these experts. And here is what they had to say.
So I think for me, that rejection is like, this is definitely no coward. And I use this all the time. He says, a bad review may spoil your breakfast, but never let it interfere with lunch. And that's kind of, when I heard that, I was like, okay, I'm going to take that attitude on. So I'll get really upset and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm rejected about this book. And I feel like they've missed the point of what I'm doing and all that stuff. And then last, half an hour or so and stuff. And I'll be all right. What do I do now? Okay, do I go back to that same thing and try and rework it, take on board some of the points that they said, leave the ones that don't matter? Do I work on something else? Do I try and write something new and fresh? But basically the deal is to keep going and not let it get to you and knock your confidence. And I realized that's not, like, my confidence has been knocked, like there's been times where I've been rejected for something or given a bad notes and stuff. And I felt really bad about it. But I try and sometimes even just convince myself, say, oh, you're actually good, and look back at the good work I did, and try and make myself feel good again so I can write again. That's always the goal.
This is a tough question, and it's something that I'm constantly trying to get better at. So for those listening who may not know, I've referenced it a few times. I run the YouTube channel iWriterly, where I talk about writing and publishing books. The brand encompasses a YouTube channel, a website, newsletter, books, Patreon, online courses, and social media. In other words, I'm extremely accessible online. So as a YouTuber, or really anyone who operates a business online, you put yourself out. You put yourself up to a lot of criticism and a lot of negative feedback. You're quite literally making yourself available to people by putting yourself, your values, and your face on the internet. And because of that, it can be easy for unkind people to reach out to you. For example, and I'm saying this just because if you guys are experiencing this, who listens to this, I just want you to know that you're not alone. So for example, I have cyberbullies who've repeatedly messaged me through my social platforms and through my business website. I receive a lot of sexist emails or mansplaining people trying to tell me how to write or publish my books or how to do YouTube when they have zero experience. And there's people who have spoken unkindly about me on gossip websites or in very public social media posts. So on and so forth. People are jerks online sometimes. So I think first and foremost, do your best to think about the person behind the comment or behind the unkind message. As the saying goes, hurt people hurt people. Also, find author friends who've gone through something similar and you can vent or talk to them about what you're experiencing, because sometimes simply having a willing ear who just gets it is comfort enough. Another way I manage negative feedback is to have more strict boundaries when it comes to social media and emails. Before my channel grew pretty quickly in 2019, I used to go on social media for fun or to interact with people and chit chat. Now I only go on social media during business hours and for business purposes. And then I basically have taught myself that in my free time, I do other stuff. So I'll read books, I listen to podcasts, I play games, and so forth. I also do not actively read my YouTube comments anymore. So after the first 1,000 views, I stopped checking the comments. I'm not deleting the nasty ones. I'm not looking at them. Like, they're going to be there. And you know what? And I don't have to see them if people want to be grumpy online. So the last thing I'll recommend is going to a therapist and or a psychiatrist if you struggle with your mental health. Mental health is something that I struggle with, and I think most everyone can benefit from talking with a therapist, especially if you receive constant criticisms or attacks, because maybe you'll question your decisions or question, I don't know, parts about yourself if people are attacking you as a person. So whatever you do, I think that when it comes to straight up trolling, it's probably not worth engaging in conversation with those people. They are there to attack and hurt you because they are hurting. They're not there to engage in a healthy discourse. It's not worth, just doing that. Just don't, in my opinion. Again, if you want to do something else, that's your prerogative. This is just my opinion. So keep on shining and doing big things in your life. The criticism will come no matter what you do, and you just have to learn to ignore the harmful stuff. But also, don't be afraid to engage with trusted peers about some of the criticism that might be worth investigating to see how you can do better. In general, I recommend not looking to like book reviews or consumers for criticism on your platform or writing. Again, look to trusted peers who will be brutally honest with you.
How do you deal with it? You cry and you sob. there's no other way. It does take a little bit of time, and when you get notes and you look at them, yes, oh, we want to cut this page, you want to cut this is going on too long, too many lines in this, and you have a 2-hour conversation. I'm talking script editing here, really, not books. I mean, the same thing, but it's slightly different with a book. And they say, right, we want to do this line, the character wouldn't, we don't like this joke. And you've had a 2-hour meeting on the phone, writing these down. Oh, bloody hell, that's God. And you feel a bit, and then you look at the next day, you think, yeah, that's right. That's quite right. And you do it. So you just give yourself a bit of time. And the trick with rejection is just have other stuff going on, just do it. It's tricky. And certainly getting published in the whole world of publishing is tricky, I know that. So it's easier when you are commissioned and you're working. So I'm talking about stuff that when you're kind of banging on the door and banging your head against the wall and you're sending stuff out and you're just getting standard notes back, that's really hard to deal with it. And I think the answer is you have to, I don't know, just keep going on, really. Everybody says keep going on.
How do I deal with negative feedback? Well, I'd be tempted to just roll about in the gutter in a fetal position and just cry until I can come out again. And I've got to admit it hurts, doesn't it? Especially if someone has posted something in a very public place that just tells the whole world what they think and it's not very nice. It does hurt, but I have learnt that I actually can't read reviews. And the best way to deal with it is to leave it up to people to contact you, because in that way they would only really contact you if they're going to say something nice about it. And I think it depends how thick-skinned or thin-skinned you are. I know some people are of the mindset where if someone is bothering to write a review about you, even if it's bad, that can only be good, right? Because all publicity is good publicity. But if I'm honest, I think I've got a sensitive side. And so, yeah, I just thought, right, I'll take it with a pinch of salt. I'll take them all, good and bad, with a pinch of salt. And if anyone feels strongly enough about my writing, they will write to me personally rather than via a portal. And I've been lucky enough to have a couple of people that I don't know who've just found me on Instagram and popped me a message saying how much they love Cowgirl. And that, to me, is probably the best thing about being a published author. Truly, truly, it's just such a buzz when somebody does that. So nice, out of the kindness of their heart. They don't know me, don't have to write anything. Yeah, and to get a message like that, it's just amazing.
That's the great thing about self-publishing, is that your career is your own. And if you're successful, it's because you did something right. If you're not successful, it's because you didn't do something right. And at the end of the day, so what if people don't like your book? Just write the next one. That's always been my my view. Now, if you take the other route, the traditional publishing route, that's a lot harder because the very basis of that system is predicated on someone accepting you and accepting your book. If you reject that, then the whole world is open to you. And you would be surprised at what people like and what they don't like. Like I've written books that I was like, I'm not sure about this book. I like it. It's fun for me, but I'm not sure if anybody else is going to enjoy it. And sometimes that's been true. Sometimes the books that I write, and I just kind of, it's like, I'll write this book and I don't think anything's going to happen. Those are the books that become more popular, and you never know until you release it. And that's the important thing I try to tell writers. I tell writers that almost every day. Is that there was one writer that reached out to me and she said, I'm just so scared that no one's going to want to buy the book. And I asked her, well, how are you going to know that unless you publish?
If I've put my book out to you, say you're reading my book as a beta reader, or my agent is reading it, or my publisher is reading it, and I'm asking for feedback on it, I would prefer you to just be brutally honest and tear me to pieces if you need to. Tell me everything that's the matter with it, because I need tough love. And if I want somebody to just give me a pat on the back and say how wonderful it is, then I'll give it to one of my family members, But if you want real feedback that is going to really help you and make your story stronger and all the better for it, even if it hurts, I think negative feedback all the way, because it's only going to make you better. What I would say, though, is once it's been published and it's out there, just positive, please, because there's nothing I can do about it. Once it's left the ether, that's when I want to go in the fetal position.
And there you have it. Our experts giving us advice on how they deal with negative feedback. Check the description for links to their work. But what do you think about the recommendations that our experts have made? Do you agree or disagree with the way they feel you should be able to deal with negative feedback? Do you have some opinions of your own that you would like to share with us? If so, please share them with us in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel to get great tips on how to write your first novel. I'm Marcus, and I'll see you next time. Dear Mother, when you make your own film, then you can criticize others. Peace, your son. I spelled peace wrong.